In today's webinar, we're going to be taking a step-by-step walkthrough of the SuranceBay online contracting process. And I'll be going through the online contracting process screen by screen, so feel free if you're sitting in front of your computer to follow along with me and submit a contract today. And for those of you that may not be able to join us or follow along on your computer, or if you find that you might have to exit the webinar early, you can find step-by-step written procedures on the Partners Advantage Humana Agent Portal. And I'll be showing you where all of this is at the end of our presentation. So Partners Advantage, we utilize the SuranceBay online contracting system to make contracting process as easy as possible for you, the agent. And one of the nice things that SuranceBay does is it downloads all of your agent profile information from the National Insurance Producer Registry, and that ends up saving you a lot of time and hassle of inputting the information manually. Now, once your agent profile has been downloaded and verified to be correct, it's just a matter of clicks to request an appointment with any life or annuity or linked benefit carrier. Now let's get started with the step-by-step process. And again, if for any reason you can't follow along, please refer to the step-by-step written procedures found on the procedures link on the Partners Advantage Humana Agent Portal. And I kind of circled it here so you can see it. That's where that's located. But you can access the SuranceBay online contracting system by logging into our portal, www.partnersadvantage.com/Humana. And once you're logged in, you're going to want to click on the Contracting tab and click on SuranceBay Online Contracting. This will open up a new window in your browser. And I want to kind of note that once you open that window, you'll stay logged on to the system for you'll be logged onto the system, and if you're inactive for 10 minutes, it will automatically log you out. So just keep note of that. You'll have to go back to the Partners Advantage website and click on the Contracting tab in SuranceBay Online Contracting to get logged in again, if that happens. So if this is your first time accessing the SuranceBay Online Contracting System, this is the screen that you're going to see. And you'll only see this screen the first time you access the online contracting system. So what we're going to do is you're going to want to click on the small window up at top. And what that's going to do is it's going to open the system in a new window, which will make it really easy for you to navigate through it. So once it's open, you're going to want to enter your Social Security number here. And by entering your Social Security number, you're giving SuranceBay permission to access and upload your agent information for contracting purposes. So we enter our Social Security number here. We make sure that there's a check mark in the OK to pull my PDB or producer database report. And then we click on the Add Me button. Now you'll see that your information is then populated into all of these fields. Now, if this is your second time using the system, second or subsequent times using the system, this is the first screen that you're going to see. You're going to be directly taken to this screen. So for today's purposes, we want to make sure and verify all of your information is correct, especially those fields with a red dot to the left of them. And it's extremely important to make sure that these addresses below are correct, as these are the addresses that will be submitted to all the carriers when contracted. And your policies are going to be mailed to these addresses, so we don't want any mishaps with the mail and whatnot. So make sure that these addresses are correct. And if for any reason they are not, you can simply press on the Edit buttons here. And you'll be taken to a screen where you can modify or edit those addresses. So to get to the next screen, we're going to make good use of this next button up here. You're going to click Next. And you're going to be taken to the DBA screen. Now I just want to point out really quickly that if you look to the bottom of your screen, you'll notice that there are green check marks next to the screen tile on each tab. That means the screen has been completed and is in good order. So we're looking for green check marks all the way through in order to complete our contracting process. So DBA stands for Doing Business As, and as a Humana carrier, a Humana career agent, you're going to be doing business as a licensed-only agent. So you're going to want to select licensed-only agent, and then again verify if any of this the contact information is incorrect, or verify that it's correct. And if any of it is incorrect, you're going to want to click on the pencil image and make the appropriate changes. And then we're going to click Next. Now, you're going to be required to answer all of these questions. There are 19 questions on this screen, and there's a scroll bar right here where you're going to use to continue on past the number that you can see on the screen. You're going to be required to answer every single one of these questions, and any yes answers are going to require an explanation. Now, your explanation, you can either upload that if you have a document that's saved to your computer, or you can create an explanation document. So number 13, for example, have you ever had any interruptions in licensing? Okay, so our agent here marked yes. So what we're going to need to do is click on explanation, because we're going to add an explanation, and it's going to take us to this explanation document screen. Now, right here, here's the upload button. If you already have an explanation saved in a Word document to your computer, you click on that. And if not, we're going to click on Create Explanation Document. Once we click on that button, it's going to open up this Provide Explanation section right here. And we're going to put in the date, what the action was. In this particular circumstance, this agent forgot to renew his license. And, he gave a brief reason and then an explanation. All right. And once you've populated all these fields, and all of these fields are required, as seen by the red dots next to them, we create the explanation document. All right, we click explanation, and we go back to what we're going to do is click this button, this left arrow button, to get back to the question screen. And then we're going to click Next. The next screen, it's going to take you to the licenses screen. This screen is going to display all of your current state licenses. You're going to want to ensure that all of your state licenses are displayed here. And then we're going to click Next. Okay. In the history screen, all of your address history and employment history for the last 7 years should be displayed here as recorded in the National Insurance Producer Registry. If for any reason you don't have 7 years of employment or address history recorded, you're going to get these errors right here. The employment history is less than 7 years. You can really disregard this information. As a Humana agent, it's not required that you fill out 7 years because you are doing business as a licensed-only agent. So the information is not required to get you contracted. So and it won't hinder any of your appointment processes. So go ahead and click Next up at the top. And then you'll see the E&O screen. This is we get a lot of questions about E&O. And Partners Advantage has the Humana agent E&O on file. As a market point agent, your errors and omissions insurance is provided to you by Humana, and so we will be responsible for forwarding a copy of your E&O insurance to the carrier you're contracting with. So you don't need to worry about this section. And in turn, so that little tab is always going to have a red exclamation point at the bottom. But again, that red exclamation point is not going to hinder you from getting an appointment with any carrier. So we're going to click Next. Now we're at the Training tab. And the first question, are you currently a registered representative with FINRA? So we have to answer yes or no to this. And if you're not familiar with FINRA, FINRA stands for Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. And I'm going to say if you're not securities licensed or not licensed to do variable life or variable annuities, which is the case for 99% of all Humana Market Point agents, you're going to answer no to this question. Now we're going to select the provider you use to complete your AML training. And so the most commonly accepted AML training for the purposes of life, annuity, and linked benefit sales is provided by LIMRA. It's also free, which makes it kind of nice. So if you completed your training via any other source, please contact us on the national sales team to see if your AML training is compliant for life and annuity sales. We'll be happy to answer any of your questions pertaining to that. For the purposes of this presentation, I'm just going to assume that you used LIMRA to complete your AML training. So we're going to click on LIMRA, and then we're going to put an approximate date of when your LIMRA was completed. I know for myself, I don't remember the exact date, and it will not hinder anything with the process of downloading your LIMRA certificate. So you enter that date, and then it's basically giving SuranceBay authority to download, access your LIMRA account and download your screenshot or AML completion certificate. So you have to click on I agree here, enter your user ID, and your user ID with LIMRA is always going to be the first 4 letters of your last name and the last 6 numbers of your Social Security number. So if your last name is Smith, you're going to enter SMIT and then the last 6 numbers of your Social Security number. Now for first-time users, your password is going to be your last name, all in lowercase. So if you're a first-time user of LIMRA, you're going to enter that here, and if not, and you've changed your password with LIMRA, enter your password as recorded by LIMRA. If you forgot your password, you can always recover it by clicking here, and that'll take you to the actual aml.limra website, and they will be happy to provide you with your email address. Now, Partners Advantage, just keep in mind, Partners Advantage does not manage LIMRA's website, so we don't have any access to your passwords when it comes to AML. We are more than happy to help you, get to where you need to find out this information, but we don't know your passwords, so we can't provide that information to you. So once that's all input, we're going to click on, you'll see the Get Screenshot light up, and then we'll click on Get Screenshot, and it will automatically upload your certificate. Now here's where it says honors. You can enter any of the honors that you might have, or designations like Chartered Life Underwriter or Chartered Financial Planner, all that good stuff. So that can be entered right there. And we're going to click Next. All right, and here is your scan file. This is where all of your information, any documents you uploaded, your AML certificate, this is where all of your information is going to be stored in the contracting system. So here you can see the E&Os there, the AML that we just uploaded. The big thing for first-time users is signature capture, and it's a little quirky to do, so we're going to walk through the signature capture process. We're going to click on signature capture, and it's going to take us to the authorization screen. So signature authorization. You need to read this form in its entirety, using the scroll bar to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then you'll see this accept button right here, accept or reject. This gives SuranceBay authorization to electronically place your signature on all carrier appointment requests. So we're going to have to do this because we are using an electronic system. If you click on Accept, it'll take you to this next screen. And I'm sorry, that's very small, but right where I'm circling, it says Add Signature. You're going to click Add Signature, and it will automatically take you to this screen on the right-hand side. Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to hold on to your mouse, hold down the left click, and just drag it across your mouse pad and sign your name with using your mouse. If you have any trouble with this or this doesn't make sense, please give the national sales team a call, and we will attempt to help you out with it. It's a little quirky, but there is an erase button, so you can always erase and start over. You're going to want to sign your full name. Once you're satisfied with how it looks, you click on Done, and then it will show you this screen down below where your signature is in a box. And as long as that's acceptable to you, go ahead and click on the left arrow button here at the top left-hand corner, and it will take you back to the scan file. And so now you can see here's our signature image, and the status is complete, and the file has been uploaded. Okay, so now if you see at the bottom, all of our fields or our tabs are marked with a green check, so everything is in good order. We're now ready to request an appointment. So we're going to click Request Appointment up here. And automatically you're going to receive, and I'm sorry, I said everything had a everything had a green check mark, but your E&O is never going to have a green check mark. So because we're downloading the E&O for you. But so when we click on Request Appointment, this error is going to come up, that E&O policy not available. Not all carriers require E&O. Would you like to proceed with your appointment? You're going to always click Yes. So we click Yes. And now we're ready to contract. So keep in mind that every step you've taken to get to this point will not have to be repeated. So all of those questions you answered, all those files you scanned, none of that is going to have to be repeated, which is the beauty of the system. Makes it really easy, efficient to request appointments with multiple different carriers. The only time you will need to make changes is if something changes, in your history, your address. I had to change my signature file because I just changed my last name, so I had to upload a new signature. Now we're ready to request an appointment, and you can only select one carrier at a time, and only those carriers that are approved by Humana will be on this carrier selection list, so you don't have to worry about selecting a carrier that might not be approved by Humana. And if you have any questions about a carrier that you might not see here, please contact us at the national sales team. So for today's presentation, we are going to be using Genworth as an example. And so we click on Genworth, and then over here for the request type, contract will always automatically be defaulted. So there will always be a black dot in the radio button right here. Now we're going to click Next. Now if you carry any non-resident licenses, you'll need to select which states you want Genworth to appoint you to. In this circumstance, this agent only has one license. But if you're like myself and you hold more than one license, if you want Genworth to appoint you in more than one state, you would make sure that all of them are checked. And then you'll need to select which products you'd like to be contracted to sell with that particular carrier, with Genworth. So in most cases, this will include fixed life and fixed annuity. And if you have any other questions about any other product line, then give us a call, and we'll help you get more information about that. But for all intents and purposes, it's typically always going to be fixed life and fixed annuity. Then we're going to click Next. And each carrier has their own specific set of questions outside of the questions you just answered on the Questions tab. Genworth happens to, they ask for your preferred mailing address because they are going to mail the policies directly to you so that you can deliver them to your clients. So that's really important to put what address you want the policy to be sent to. I know some of you, your business address happens to be your Humana office, and that office is, in some cases 2-3 hours away. If that is not feasible or easy for you to always be going into the office to get your contracts or your policies for delivery, then I would say have them mailed to your residence so that you can have your policies delivered to your clients in a timely manner. It also asks, are you currently a party to any litigation? You're going to mark yes or no, and then click on the next button. Some carriers have more questions, but I don't think I've seen more than 5 or 6 questions for any one carrier. All right. Now, here is what the actual contract, if you're filling out a paper contract, basically what Genworth does is take all that information that you just entered into that system, and it populates the Genworth contract. Right? So what we want to do is verify that all of the information is input into the contract correctly. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then click on Confirm. You'll see the Confirm button up at the top. You're going to want to click on Confirm, confirming that all the information is true and correct. And once you've clicked on Confirm, you'll get this success box thanking you for your appointment, and you just click on OK, and then you know that your contract has been submitted. Now, if you know you wanted to contract with several different carriers, maybe Genworth was first, GTL, and you need to contract with some other carriers, you're going to click on My Info right here after you've clicked on OK, and it's going to take you back to the NIPR screen. I'll go back there real quick just so you can see. It's going to take you back to this screen, and you'll see Request Appointment already at the top, so you don't have to go through the whole procedure again of answering any questions. You just click on that, and it's going to take you to the carrier selection screen. So congratulations. You've completed your contract, your carrier appointment request, and you're now ready to sell life, annuity, or league benefit business to your clients. All right. So now I'm just going to go over some of the other things that we have available on the contracting tab, and then I will open it up to questions. On the contracting tab, you see where we clicked on the SuranceBay online contracting. That was here, which took us to the other system. We also have an online contracting tutorial that you can watch. That will take you, kind of lead you through step-by-step procedures on how to get contracted with the SuranceBay online contracting. We also have an online training, AML training tab. This is going to take you directly to LIMRA's website, so you can complete the online training. And like I said, LIMRA does offer free AML training for the purposes of life and annuity business. However, if you haven't contracted with a life carrier or annuity carrier previously, you will not be able to, they won't have your information on file basically, so you won't be able to access the system. So my recommendation is go ahead and go through the contracting process, and then once Genworth or once North American or any of the carriers are notified that you have applied for a contract, they will open it up and activate you in LIMRA so that you can go on to LIMRA and complete the training. They'll do this, most of them do it before you are given an agent number with that carrier. And the thing about agent numbers, I know each of you has your own Humana agent number. Each of the carriers you contract are going to give you an identifying number, and it's going to be different with every single carrier. That number needs to be written on each of the applications that you submit. So it's really good to keep a spreadsheet or something that where you can easily go to and find your contract numbers. You can also contact us at the national sales team, and we will be more than happy to provide you with your agent numbers. Non-resident electronic licensing tab is going to take you to the NIPR website, where you can renew your state license, your resident state license, or you can appoint in another state. So if you live on the border of 2 states and you want to start doing some business, in the other state, you are going to have to be licensed in that state in order to transact business. You would go ahead and appoint for a non-resident license utilizing this link right here. The state insurance tab is basically going to bring up a map of the United States. You click on your state, and it'll take you to your state's Department of Insurance, where you can check whether or not you are compliant to sell life, annuity, or any of the alternate products. Please make sure that when you are contracting that you have the authority to sell life and annuity business before you solicit it. That's really important. We have had issues in the past where the agents have only been authorized to do health business, to sell Medicare products and such, and you just want to make sure that you've done the appropriate training and continuing education requirements to be compliant in your state to sell the alternate products. All right, and then Kaplan University, that's where you can take continuing education, and you don't have to utilize Kaplan University, but it is provided here as a link. Obviously, that'll be at a cost to you, the agent, to complete your CEs. Okay, now if we have any questions, Zach is going to be helping me out here. He's another team member on the national sales team. So Zach, did we get any questions?
Yeah, Kim, we actually did have a couple questions. The first one here is, how long will it take for a carrier to accept my appointment?
Okay, typical time frame is 5 to 10 business days. So unless we put a rush on it, let's just say you're writing something, you have an appointment in the next couple of days, 3 days. Give us a call directly, and we will try to speed up the appointment process for you. But it typically will take 5 to 10 business days because the carriers will do their due diligence to make sure that you don't have any vectors, that there's no criminal records, and all of this takes time for them to do. So I'm going to say on a very basic level, 5 to 10 business days. And another point is that the carriers, if you're selling life insurance, the carriers will not process your appointment until you submit a piece of business. So that's really important to know, because we do get the question, well, I signed up for a contract a year ago, so I should still be contracted. However, that's not the case if you never submitted any business. Basically, they'll just kind of throw away that request, and you'll have to re-request appointment with that carrier. Now, on the annuity side, you must be appointed prior to soliciting any annuity product. So if you know you're going to write an annuity, please give us a call. And it's the first time you're appointing with a carrier. Please give us a call so we can make sure that your appointment paperwork is pushed through as quickly as possible, so that we can get you compliant with the contracting, the prior to solicitation contracting requirements. Anything else?
Yeah, thank you, Kim. The next question was on AML. If I've already done AML training through Humana, do I have to redo it through LIMRA?
Yes. AML through Humana. Humana provides AML for the Humana Marketplace career agents. However, that AML covers Medicare sales and health-related sales. It does not, and only Humana products. So it doesn't cover any other alternate products like life insurance and annuity. So you will have to do the AML through LIMRA or another third-party source that is compliant with life and annuity sales.
Thank you. And if I'm contracted with a carrier for life, will I have to recontract for annuities as well?
That's a good question. If the carrier has both life and annuity products, no. You will be contracted with both at time of contract. So I guess the answer to that is no. Now, if you submitted a contract a couple of years ago, we didn't do this. We didn't submit both contracts at the same time. So if you submitted a contract a couple of years ago, you've been writing some life business, but you haven't written any annuity business, give us a call just to make sure that your appointment is good for annuities as well.
Thank you. And the last question we have here is, will I have any issues if I have debt or bankruptcy?
It depends on when your bankruptcy was. Typically, no. Like myself, I've had a bankruptcy back in 2005. It does not prevent me from getting contracted. The best key I could give you is that you want to be upfront and honest about what the situation was. In my case, it was medical problems with medical bills, outstanding medical bills, and so I had to disclose that to the carriers, and they were willing to work with me because that was kind of like a catastrophic event. Now, if you just decided not to pay your bills and declare bankruptcy, well, that's a totally different story. Yes, you're going to have some problems getting contracted. The big thing really is whether or not you have any vectors, and a vector is you have money that's owed to a life or annuity carrier where you haven't paid it. Vector's kind of the reporting agency, credit reporting agency for these types of carriers, life insurance and insurance carriers. So if you have any vectors, that will hinder you from being able to appoint with certain carriers. But if if you have any additional questions, or you kind of just want to throw some ideas out there or throw some situations out there, give us a call. We're always here to help, and more than willing to work with you. And we're all human. We've all gone through some hard times as well. So we'll let you know. There are some carriers that are a little more lenient, and we typically can use the right verbiage to get them to be kind of on our side and get us contracted. So anything else?
No, I think that was the last one. Thank you.
Okay. Well, if anyone does have any additional questions, and maybe you didn't think about them right now, or you go into the system and you decide to start, running through the contracting process, and you have some hiccups, please feel free to give us a call. Our team really is on your side, and we want to help out and make sure you get to a point where you feel comfortable selling the life and annuity and linked benefit products. We want to thank you for taking part of for participating in our presentation today. And just a reminder, our next webinar is on single premium life sales, and that's hosted by My Sales Insights. And that's happening this Wednesday on January 14th at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Feel free to join us then for some exciting ideas on how to utilize and introduce the benefits of single premium life to your clients. And then we do have the webinar walkthrough, a repeat of that. We're going to be hosting that the first Monday, February 2nd at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So feel free to join us for that, for some informative information on how to utilize some of the tools and resources on our website. All right. Now, if there are no more questions, I thank you again for joining us, and please feel free to give us a call if you think of anything.